In this video, I'm going to be showing you the other two maps that will be available in the Naval Strike DLC for Battlefield 4. First of all, we're looking at Operation Mortar. Now this is a really nice looking map. Once again, there seems to be a central point for the map, and that's the C flag, which is right at the top of the hill. And it's one of the most interesting points on the map. Now, looking at the other areas, they're very low down, very flat, and right on the edges, and this happens to be pretty much the only inland flag on the whole map. Now, playing this on Carrier Assault, this was a really good flag to hold because it's extremely difficult to take back once a team has got hold of it. The reason it's so difficult is because the hill is so steep, you're having to look up into the sun all the time, and you can't really see where you're going, and you can't really see if an enemy is staring down at you. Now, there are a couple of things that you can use. There is an underground network system underneath the hill, very much like the bunker on Caspian Border in the second Assault DLC, that's been dug into the ground, which allows you to sort of take the flag from underneath. You have to come above the ground to take the flag, but it means you do have some other routes to actually get up to it. The other reason that this is such a heavily contested flag, it's the area where the old cannons are housed in the DLC. Now, if you haven't seen this before, this is essentially a massive cannon that fires cannonballs across the map. It's completely irregular to anything else in the DLC, and if you get a kill with one of them, you can complete an assignment. Now, it's very, very difficult to get a kill with one of these. We tried for about an hour after everybody finished recording. Me, Jack, Matt, Wintergore and Vicstar stayed behind for a little bit. We played around with some of the things in the DLC, and we picked the old cannon for a little while, and it was extremely difficult for us to try and get a kill. I mean, you can see here, taking this shot, I managed to get a hit marker on Vicstar's hovercraft down at the bottom there, but even that wasn't enough to take it out. It can take out a scout heli in one hit, but an attack chopper or a transport chopper, you can't. It needs 2 hits from the old cannon. And this thing recharges so slow that by the time you've hit it once, your target's probably disappeared anyway. It really is a fun bit of kit to use, and after you've fired a few shots, you will get used to the bullet drop that's on this cannon. When I say bullet drop, it's not bullet drop at all. It's because this thing is firing cannonballs, it's so heavy and it has such a long travel time, which is why it's so hard to hit somebody. But it's still really good fun to use. I know it's there for novelty, but I'm kind of glad that it's in the Naval Strike DLC, just for a little bit of fun. Now, as I mentioned in my previous video, Carrier Assault is obviously available on Operation Mortar, and I think it's a really good map to have. As I said already, the C flag is extremely important to hold because once you've got hold of it, it's very difficult for the enemy team to take it back and reverse the missile that's on it. But it's also very important to make sure that you have control of the other bases that are lower down to the ground. Those things can get missed on this map, and that's probably my only complaint for the whole map entirely. Apart from that, the visuals are absolutely stunning. On Carrier Assault, it's really good to play through this map. Obviously, you start with the break of day. I didn't actually get to witness the weather levolution on this map, which was a little bit of a shame. But I think it's because we just played Carrier Assault so much and we got through it so quickly because one team was just obviously better than the other on the day that we just didn't get to see the levolution. So when the DLC comes out, what you're supposed to see is a transition from sunrise to a storm, which I think could be really cool. One thing I will say about Carrier Assault, it seems that the layout of the MCOMs inside the carrier is exactly the same for all 4 maps, which I find a little bit strange, because it could probably get a little bit sameish if that was to happen all the time. Perhaps if there were a few spawn locations for those MCOMs, it would make things a little bit more interesting, make things a little bit more fun and random, because as I said, if you're going to be playing that sort of 2, 3, 4 games in a row, and the MCOMs are always in the same place, is that going to get a little bit boring? I think it might do. But anyway, on to the second map that I wanted to show you. The second one is called Lost Islands, and I think this is probably my favourite map of the whole DLC, but unfortunately seems to be the map that I have the least footage for, which is a shame. I had some really good attack boat footage where I was absolutely raping the other team, but it seems that the recorder I was using didn't record it properly. So, if you're ever going to buy a Hauppauge HD PVR rocket, I suggest you don't buy one, because today they were just an absolute nightmare to use. If you want to buy any of them, go out and buy an Avamedia one instead. But yeah, Lost Islands, the reason I like it so much is because there are lines of sight across the whole map. It's not too big and it's not too small. There are areas across the whole map for infantry combat and naval combat. it seems to be the perfect balance for this DLC. The centerpiece is obviously the crashed aeroplane, which you can actually blow up a little bit more than is already on the ground. And as you probably saw when I introduced the map in terms of footage, you can jump a hovercraft over the top of it if you use the wing that's stuck into the water. Some other points of Levolution on the map, you can actually collapse some of the stone bridges that encircle some of the islands on the outer side of the map, which I think is really cool. It took a few shots from my attack boat to bring it down, but you could actually do that. And that blocked off a way for boats to get out of the island area, and it actually stopped infantry running over the top of the bridge as well. So when they were saying about Naval Strike influencing in terms of Levolution a little bit more intricately, they've actually gone ahead and done that, and I think that's a really good thing. The set pieces that we saw in the base game were getting a little bit tiresome, and I think we needed something a little bit more intricate, something that's going to affect gameplay heavily, and I think that works really well on Lost Islands. But yeah, that's been your first look at the Naval Strike DLC. Well, of course, I'll be making some more videos in the next few days, analysing a little bit more of the DLC that I've played so far, and it's actually going to be released for premium members on the 25th of March, so it's only 7 days away now, so you haven't really got long to wait. But as I say, that's been your look at Naval Strike for today. If you enjoyed the video today, please do hit that like button and make sure you leave all your comments down below. I do try and read as many as I can. But until next time, my name is Westy, and I'll catch you guys in the next video.